right, I'm Michael, this is Liz, and we're waiting for Aaron. We're going to go ahead and go through the answers, and we are now live. Liz, let me know if there's an echo. I'll turn off my mic, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, my pleasure. Number 1 is A. 2 is C. 3 is A. 4 is A. 5 is B. 6 is C. 7 is B. 8 is A. 9 is D. 10 is C. 11 is D. 12 is C. 13 is D. 14 is D. 15 is D. 16 I didn't answer.
Okay.
17 I put B, but I wasn't sure. I had a question mark.
Okay.
18 is C. 19 is C, and 20 is C. That makes me nervous.
So, like I said, there were a few that I didn't answer, but the ones that I answered, do you want me to go over the ones that we have different?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So, number 1, you have A, and I have B. And so let me tell you what, let me get to the page.
I'm actually really glad you found that one because I looked in the text and I couldn't see it, and then I didn't have a chance to look at the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the PowerPoint yet either. So which of the following is not correct? So for A, I found a part on the very first page where it has like that little intro, just a few paragraphs. It says, inflation rate, economists measure the inflation rate as the percentage change in the consumer price index, the GDP deflator, or some other index of the overall price level.
And so we know that it's not A then because you literally just outlined it.
Right, that's what, so like what I did is I went through and I found each one except for, there was some variations, like in the, let's see, 2002 to 2012, the average rate was 2.5. The actual average for the United States, well, this is for the past 80 years, was 3.6%.
And so what is much variation? Like, is much like 1.5 or is much like 10%?
I know, that's where I have a hard time with class, because even like, see, I'm like,
Right.
hey, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, sorry we had people come in last minute today. We weren't able to get out pretty late.
You're totally fine. We went over the answers, but we have a little bit different. So want me to read them to you real quick?
That'd be great.
Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
1, I had A, but it's not right. We're thinking it's C.
Okay.
2.
I have B.
Oh, sorry, B. We're thinking it's B.
Okay.
2 is C like cat. 3 is A. 4 is A. 5 is B as in boy. 6 is C as in cat. 7 is B as in boy. 8 is A. 9 is D as in dog. 10 is C as in cat. 11 is D as in dog. 12 is C as in cat. 13 is D as in dog. 14 is D. 15 is D. 16 I didn't answer. 17 I have a question mark next to it. I'm 99% sure it's not right. 18 is C as in cat. 19 is C. And 20 is C.
All right.
That's what I thought.
We got about half of my answers are different there.
Oh, gosh. It's going to be one of those calls.
Yeah.
All right.
Been like
So
that.
we were just working on number 1.
All right, give me just a moment. Let me pull up the quiz here.
No worries.
Okay. And I've got a pretty bad echo on you.
Okay, I'll put my microphone on mute.
What did you have for number one, Aaron?
I had D.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we all have something different.
But I need to go back and look at what the question even was to think about it.
I think that one I can read portions from the text for everything except B.
All right. My quiz is having issues loading.
It's like a printer. When you need it, it doesn't work.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Here it is. So which of the following is not correct? All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you found everything else in the text?
Yeah. So I can read it to you, but it's all within that very first, like the very first opening part. It's all in there except B. It talks about how there has been some variation.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. Then I, for some reason, had a difficulty finding it. My answer was between B and D, and for some reason, I thought D made more logical sense. But if you found everything else in the book, then I trust you on that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And so we're saying B then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then what was the answer for 2? Was that B?
I had said C.
I have C as well.
C.
And the reason is that nominal equals real plus inflation. That's the Fisher equation. And I'm not smart. That just came out of the PowerPoint.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Let's see. Okay. And then you guys had it.
I had A.
I had A as well.
Okay, so when we're saying that nominal interest rate fell, are we saying that it was increasing at a decreasing rate?
Yes. Well, no, it's just it got lower than what it was.
Okay, because, wait, hold up. Let me get to this chapter here.
And this one I think was in the textbook.
It is, yeah.
So I was looking at a chart. Let me see if this is the same chart just so that I can understand what we're looking at here.
Oh, I can read you the sentence.
Oh, is it in the sentence?
Yeah, it says the nominal interest rate fell from the early 1980s through the 1990s because the Fed got inflation under control.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. Then I'm good. Oh, wait. Was I looking here? Okay, this is what threw me off. Just random. There's no reason for you guys to see this, but this chart right here was what I was looking at, and it shows the nominal GDP. And I thought, and so I was going off this, but it's unrelated because that's GDP and not interest rate.
That's a good thought process, though.
All right. I see.
Like I wouldn't have been able to make that
Did I
connection.
share that with you? I did. Did you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where did it go? I just found it and I can't find it.
Your keyboard batteries are very low.
Yeah. I'm using a different keyboard now. All right. It's this graph is what threw me off. Nominal GDP. All right. Anyway, so I see what I did there.
Did we match on 4?
Yeah, B.
I have A.
Oh, you have A. Let me see. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Yeah, A.
Okay, and then 5, B.
Yeah, I got that as well. Section B, right?
C, yeah. What
7.
did you on 7?
What was that? Sorry.
What did you have on 7?
7, I had B.
Okay.
What did you have on 7?
Well, so I started reading the book at about 6:10, 6:15. So my stuff is not awesome. I had, I'm just looking.
So 7 is B because when they're buying back bonds, the Fed gets the bonds and the public gets the money, and so the money goes up.
So it's like an inflation question.
Okay, yeah. I keep having to like triple think that because I keep getting it backwards.
And then when they sell bonds, they get the money, so they're trying to decrease the money supply.
Right. Okay, we're good. And then 8A, you match there, Aaron?
Yeah. I matched with 9 as well was D and 10 C and 11 D.
Okay.
That was all the same. So 12, 13, 14, 15, I had different, and then 18 and 20.
Okay.
So we'll have to look at 12.
12, I have A.
Oh, I had it.
I have C.
Okay.
So it says, under the assumptions of the Fisher effect and monetary neutrality, if the money supply growth rate falls, then, and then you guys said both the nominal and the real interest rate fall. Oh, hang on. And I said the nominal interest rate falls, but the real one does not. Okay, I guess my thought process was thinking like, in the athlete homework, it talks a lot about how her wage goes up, like her nominal wage goes up, and in the long run, she's actually not making that much more money. And so that was my thought process, but it doesn't really apply here.
Oh, I'm going to read it to you, okay?
Yeah, hang on, let me mute my mic.
I couldn't. Oh, go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, it says, according to the Fisher effect, when the inflation rate rises, the nominal interest rate rises by the same amount so that the real interest rate remains the same. So,
And so the nominal is really the one being affected, right?
right, the nominal interest rate is going to fall and the real interest rate is going to stay constant. So I think C is correct.
Okay. And so I don't know if it pertains to anything, but the reason that I had put A on 12 was because, so to get the real interest rate, the equation is nominal minus, is it interest or inflation?
Inflation.
Inflation, yeah. So I was thinking that as nominal interest rate decreases, then real interest rate should decrease at the same time, just because it's nominal minus the inflation rate. So your inflation is impacting your nominal rate more and more the smaller number the nominal rate is, and then that decreases real as well.
But doesn't the inflation rate change with the nominal rate?
Not that I know of. Or else, I'm not sure. Well, let's see. Does it say that in the book?
I'm not sure. me try to find some.
Yeah, I just have that sentence that I read that is basically saying that the real interest rate doesn't change.
So, I mean, they follow, similar patterns. I guess, Michael, it would be tough to say that they do.
And this is where I just want to cry.
Yeah. Here, I'll screen share here on this graph. I mean, they follow similar patterns, but there's times where,
yeah, look at that big gap there.
Yeah, and down here as well, that they're not necessarily identical, or here where inflation drops in nominal.
And you're right. It says it right there. When the inflation rate rises, so does the nominal interest rate, and vice versa. Well, then, so if the inflation rate is decreasing, then the nominal interest rate would decrease as well.
So yeah, the nominal is going to be the real interest rate is not going to change.
And so that gives us C, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well,
Does that make sense? I think.
well,
I don't know if I'm...
I have a tough time understanding how the real interest rate wouldn't fall when the nominal does, but I guess if they do fall at an equal value, then real interest would stay the same. So I don't know. It seems like a kind of a big assumption. Well, I guess it does say under the assumptions of the
Right.
Fisher
Which
effect.
is the thing I have the hardest time with economics is all the assumptions that are made when they're.
Yeah, I hate assumptions. I like things to be black and white.
I do too. Well, and like everything that they assume, I'm like, well, that's not real. Like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, okay, 13 I got different as well.
What did you get?
I put B. Maybe that was.
Okay, I have.
I have
I think
D.
So the inflation tax is when they print money, and so we know that it's definitely C because that fits the definition.
And we also know that it's A because they use the inflation tax to pay down their deficit.
Yep.
And so if it's more than one answer.
And then the people who have the most money are hurt the most by it because their money becomes less valuable.
It doesn't really affect people that don't have a lot of money.
Are you good with that, Aaron? Or?
I mean, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm just thinking through this in the book because it says when the government raises revenue by printing money, it is said to levy an inflation tax. The inflation tax is not exactly like other taxes, however, because no one receives a bill from the government for this tax. So
and they don't.
The tax is like a tax on everyone who holds money.
But the people that have a lot of it, their money becomes worth less than it was before that they printed the money.
Mm-hmm. And so this is an alternative to income taxes and government borrowing because when the government prints money, then they no longer need to charge income tax.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't charge it anymore, but it's an alternative to I'd say it's an alternative to raising taxes. Would be printing instead of raising taxes or borrowing money from outside sources, they print more money.
Because it makes money less valuable when there's more money in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that when you do, hang on. There's a question where you had to work this out. So number 7, when it says open market purchases by the Fed, this is unrelated, but it's the same concept. When the money supply increases, it makes the value of it decrease. And so if you have a lot of money, your money just became less than it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it does say all that in the book. Yeah. So, all right, we're good on D.
Okay. What do you have on 14?
14, I put A.
Okay, and this is one that I hadn't gotten to yet, to be honest.
14 I had put D, but I got that from a study guide. Hang on. Oh, you don't adjust any tax, anything for inflation when you're doing your income taxes.
Oh.
Because it's only for the year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And so that's why I put D, because it's your income taxes are yearly.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. And I just found a sentence in the book that it says, lawmakers often fail to take inflation into account when writing tax laws. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think you're right. I think D is good.
Okay.
And Aaron, what do you have on 15?
15, I had C.
Okay, and that's another one I haven't gotten to.
And 15 I had D, but I don't know why. Did it a while ago.
Okay, let me look at it.
This one's one that I feel like you just kind of have to think through, and I think the first part is obvious. It's obviously lower than she had expected in terms of the interest rate.
So let's say she lends out
a little bit more difficult for me to understand.
Let's say she lends out $1,000 at 5% interest rate, and that's fixed. But her inflation rate is higher, so the $1,000 is worth, let's say it's worth $990. So that means that the real interest that she's earning is going to be lower than she expected, and the real value of that loan, that $1,000 loan, is $990.
Yeah, that makes sense, Michael. I'm pretty sure you're right. The real value of the loan is lower.
Yep. I just went through the equation where you were talking. Yeah. Good job, Michael. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My pleasure. I swear I'm not good at this.
Okay, 16, I had A. You guys had A.
I have D.
You have B.
C is C.
C is in cat.
Yeah, that's what I
had a question mark.
Okay.
Inflation tax is when they print the money, so it's not that one.
Okay.
Menu cost is when the companies they change the prices and it's the cost from those. And that's not it. The inflation fallacy was like when people believe that inflation is always bad and it just hurts them, basically. Let's see. I'm looking for. Oh, and then the shoe leather cost was like the cost of going to the bank over and over, something like that. I'm trying to remember.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I feel like this answer is probably the inflation fallacy. I think you're correct on that. I feel like it could be inflation tax as well, though, because inflation tax affects those who hold the money the most, right? Or keep it in savings. They're being impacted by inflation the most. So I feel like it is the inflation fallacy, but I feel like that is the idea of inflation tax as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think C makes the most sense, I think, because I mean Haley's probably just an average person.
Yeah. I think D is the correct answer, but I just feel like A is the correct answer as well.
It is.
I could see that. I could see that.
I wish these weren't so ambiguous. Maybe I could do better on an exam.
I know, huh? But this is your last economics course?
What was that, sir?
Is this your guys' last economics course?
Yeah, I'm done after this.
I think so.
Yeah.
Did you take micro already?
I did. Thank goodness.
Yeah, macro is always worse. I took this class at UF, University of Florida, and they're passing. You have to get a C plus, and I got a C.
Oh.
I know it was rough.
Was it just as hard of a setup and program?
It was so hard, and the professor recorded his lectures because I could never hear him, but his lectures were so boring, so I just never really paid attention.
That's hard.
What did you guys have for 17? I have C.
I have C as well.
For 7. Yeah, C. It's a book answer on that one.
Okay, 18.
C is in cat for me.
I put D.
That one, so I didn't answer 18 and 19. Those were two that I didn't get.
Okay. I couldn't find this one in the book.
So
did you find it in the PowerPoint?
No, my thought process was, and I don't know, I'm probably wrong. It says indexing the tax system to take into account the effects of inflation. So money is becoming worth less than it was, would by itself mean an increase in tax rates. And the reason I thought that is because, okay, if they want to get the same value, but the money is worth less, then the tax rates have to go up.
Oh.
So if your $20 is worth $10 now, then you need to get another 20 out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. I'm reading a part in the book that will answer part of this.
Yeah, I think that makes logical sense, Michael. I would like to see what the book says about it, but.
And please do, because I just pulled that out of my head. I don't know where that came from.
Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I just thought to myself that taxing real interest would kind of make sense if the government is taking into account the effects of inflation, because to me, real interest kind of does consider inflation when you're doing nominal minus inflation. So it's kind of a more realistic tax percentage, but I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Fetch, now I don't know.
But that's, I mean, if we're talking realistically, the government doesn't necessarily care about being fair in taxes. So it'd make a little bit more sense if they just taxed according to the inflation rate. So.
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards D now. But the reason is, so there's a section at 17-2E.
Wait, did you say you're leaning towards D?
Yeah. Is that definitely not right?
D as in dog?
Yeah.
Okay. 17 dash what?
17-2E. Inflation-induced tax distortions. It talks about how taxes distort incentives. Economists who have studied the tax code conclude that inflation tends to raise the tax burden on income earned from savings. So if we indexed the tax system, Aaron, did you have D on that one?
I did, yeah.
Okay, because I think A is realistic, because if they change the tax system to include inflation, then that would mean that real and nominal are equal, right? Because inflation would be taken out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
So only real interest would be earned, and then an end to taxing capital gains. And then the paragraph below it talks about tax treatment of interest income.
Yeah. This one's not as clear word for word as they generally are.
Yeah. So let's see. Because after tax, real interest rate provides the incentive to save. Saving is much less attractive in the economy with inflation than the economy with stable prices.
All right, so are you down here to this one solution to the problem is to index the tax system? Have you read that already?
No, nope, I haven't gotten there yet.
And it says that is the tax laws could be rewritten to take account of the effects of inflation. In the case of capital gains, for example, the tax code could adjust the purchase price using a price index and assess the tax only on the real gain.
Oh, okay. So then that A is justified.
Yeah.
But now I don't think it's C anymore.
Yeah. Well,
so we're relating all of the above.
It sounds like not D either, because the end of it says yet many other aspects of the tax laws, such as the tax treatment of capital gains and interest income, are not indexed. So I don't know if it's just saying currently they're not indexed, or if we were to index them, that would increase.
So I agree with you guys, and it sounds like it's just A. It's pretty black and white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with A on that one. Okay.
19.
I got C, and you got C as well, Michael?
Yeah, I also have C.
Okay. So I don't know if it made sense to you, Michael. The last portion of it makes sense to me, where it's a 0.5 percentage point lower than what you had expected, but I didn't understand the transferred wealth from you to the borrower. Does that make any sense to you?
I'm sorry, someone came into the office. Can you repeat what you just said?
I just don't understand the first part of that, where it's a transferred wealth from you to the borrower. I don't understand how they.
So you're lending money, and when you lend money, you want to make a return and get more than you lent out originally. And so you lend it out at a nominal rate of 6%. The inflation rate is 1%, and they were expecting 1.5, and so you're really getting back 5% interest, right? Instead of 6.
So your real is 5.
Right.
Expected your real is 4.5.
And so technically they got a loan at a better rate than you had originally intended them to get. And so your returns are less than what you had expected, but they are paying less. And so it's transferring wealth from you to the borrower. And you're your after-tax real interest rate is 0.5 because it's just 1 minus, or 1.5 minus 1.
Okay. That makes sense.
No worries.
Okay, and 20, I had put
20, you put what?
A.
And I have C on 20.
I have C.
Only because keeping interest rates low isn't always a good thing. You want to adjust them accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
They have no effect over unemployment. And selling index bonds, that's just going to reduce the money supply. So I don't know about stability.
Mm-hmm.
But tightly controlling the money supply kind of is an enveloping answer that, they can do A, they can do D.
Okay.
Right. I agree. For me, it was inflation, and it came down to they don't want to just all of a sudden print tons and tons and tons of money. They need to control how much is there.
Okay. I think that.
And this chapter was kind of hard too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So are we good to submit?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't put them in on the computer yet. I always print it out and do it. So, tell me what you get.
All right, we got a 18 out of 20, A minus.
I will take it.
I will take it too.
Nice.
All right, guys, it's good to see you again. Have a really happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much, and good luck with your turkey sandwiches for a week.
Thank you. You guys too.
And I'll lead the meeting next week, or host it, or whatever you call it.
I'll put the discussion post now.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.